What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit and Focus podcast. I am your coach and your host, Forrest the Trainer. But this week, I am not going to be your host for the entire time. I'm going to be introducing another member of our team, which is Drewski, and he is going to be dropping some value for you guys today, talking about the holidays, talking about some things that he's going to be bringing out, and to give him a proper intro.
Let's go, girls.
That's me, baby. I love that. I love that intro. I absolutely love it. Yeah, so like Forrest said, we're gonna just hop into it real quick. So obviously we're in the holiday season. So a couple things that I want to speak on. Obviously, I've been doing this health and fitness game for a good while. I've been through a lot of ups and downs, and what I've noticed in my lifetime, especially in my older days, with a lot more responsibilities, having a job, just being an adult, life is a lot harder, obviously, than when you were in high school, college, and all the above. Um, so seasonal depression, it's a real thing. In my opinion, it's 100% a real thing. The sunlight helps a lot. And during these times where it's cold, it's cloudy, especially if you're in South Texas, and it's humid and foggy, your energy seems to decrease. And you seem to not want to do anything. All those goals that you were killing during the springtime and summertime, they start to dwindle. And in my firsthand experience, it's very hard to get out of that because of the scenario that you're in, which you have no control over, the weather. And all obviously too, it's the giving season. And if you are single, or you're going through a tough time mentally, with your personal life and all the above, that can also play a huge part. And I've been through all of these scenarios. Even when I wasn't depressed or anything along those lines, the weather, I would choose, I'd feel lazy. My bones would hurt. Obviously, the older that I get, and I would choose not to go to the gym, and I just sit down and kind of enjoy the couch. But what I want to say is seasonal depression for a reason. It is going to go away. That being said, you cannot lose sight of the goal that you had in mind. Yes, you may be going through something right now, but within time, the darkness clears to light. There is always light at the end of the tunnel, and that's huge. That's just huge to remember, especially during times like that, because you feel so overbearing with weight on your chest and mind that you're just like, my whole world's falling. I looped my belt loop this morning on the door handle. I spilled my coffee. I was late to the gym. I was also late to work. I dropped my pen. My pen broke. You just feel like all the world is crashing down. But one thing I have to say in regards to that is going to pass. Do not lose sight of the goal you had in mind. Do not lose sight of the objectives you did complete previous to this little obstacle you have in front of you. And that being said, you have a coach, you have a plan, and you have the information and tools necessary to be successful. Continue following that the best you can. If you are going through a slump, you have your coaches, Forrest and of course Alexis. Do not hesitate to reach out to them. Yes, it may seem scary. Yes, you may seem like a failure if you choose to, eat something bad or fall off track for a little bit, or you don't feel it for this week. But it'll pass like a kidney stone. But at the end of the day, it's always good to communicate your wins and also your losses with your coach so we can adjust accordingly. I think that one of the things I respect so much about Forrest and also Alexis, especially in this journey, is balance is key, especially when you're dieting. At the end of the day, you don't want to be so over saturated with, I need to be Christopher Bumstead. Yes, that is the ultimate goal. Of course, you want to change your life physically and mentally, but at the end of the day, it's about winning the small goals. It's about taking your small wins that'll gradually build up to those bigger wins. Um, and that's going to lead me into the other topic that I wanted to talk about, was the holiday season over eager goals. You have a lot of people, that, hey man, we got a couple weeks left till January 1st. I'm going to freaking kill it. I'm going to start no more sodas, no more fast food, no more pizza. I'm going to the gym 37 times out of the week. I'm going to do a triathlon and also an Ironman this year. That is ridiculous. This is what I see, and this has happened to me countless times. So before I lost over 100 pounds, that was exactly me. Every single time the new year was coming up, I decided that I wanted to do X, 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 Y, Z, Z, Z. And I wanted to do that all with one time. And Let me tell you, when I couldn't complete one goal or I didn't lose 2 pounds that first week, that was it, dog. I was off to McDonald's for my bundle box because I said, well, what the hell? This isn't, I thought I was doing everything correctly. And look, why didn't I lose 1 pound this week? What's going on? Like, what the hell is, what's going on? That's ridiculous. But in reality, you need to not oversaturate your plate. When you have goals, start small. One of the things that I always like to say, and I use this for my career as well, and I use this for people who come to me with questions about, oh, dude, how do I get stronger? How do I get bigger? I don't ever get the question on, yo, how do I get lean or bigger biceps? I was like, oh, your calves are jacked, bro. How do I get bigger calves? Why don't you talk about my biceps? It hurts my feelings. Talk about my biceps. Why you gotta talk about my calves? Like, come on. But one of the things that I say is, let's get the water on the table first. When you go to a restaurant, right? And hopefully you guys aren't going to restaurants all the time, JJ, viewers, Katie. But does the server bring you your entree and then 3 courses later you finally get your drink? No. You start off with the water first. When you're able to get the water on the table first, you're able to relax a little bit, have a conversation, and boom, guess what? Your appetizer or salad comes. From the appetizer, you get to your entree, and then entree, you get to your dessert. Those things are in order, and that's how things should be. You start off small and lead to bigger things. And the dessert at the end of it is the goal that you had in mind, and now you're able to reward yourself. That's something that I use on a daily basis. I speak to adults every single day with my job. I call them adults, but in my eyes, they're children because they act like goddamn children. But at the end of the day, this is something that I use because it breaks it down so simple. Start small, build up bigger. When you hit the goal, quote unquote, whatever goal you have, whether that's getting bigger, whether that's getting smaller, reward yourself with a dessert. But it's never going to come out of that order. If you start off with a reward or quote unquote your dessert, what's going to make you want to work hard for your water? Nothing. That small goal is worthless at this point because hey, you know what? I can get dessert whenever I want. I'm going to reward myself here. I'm going to reward myself there. So that's just something I have to say in regards to being over eager in regards to the holiday season is, it's coming up. Start small. At the end of the day, guys, the small wins are what matters. And like I said, they're going to lead to those bigger ones. And Forrest and Alexis are both great coaches. And I guess you could say mentors as well, especially Alexis, me living with her. Forrest, for the time that I've known is that, one of the things they've always kind of preached in their own ways was small wins matter. I used to be this person where, nah, F that. I need some bigger goals in my life or I'm going to get my goddamn bundle box, bro. But those are just some tips and advice that I have in regards to that for the holiday season. You guys have goals in mind. There's a reason you guys signed up for this program. There's a reason Forrest is a coach. There's a reason Alexis is a coach. We all understand that we're all human beings, and sometimes we may slip up, but it's always good to communicate it, no matter how big it is and how small it is. And that's one thing Forrest will probably talk about sooner or later. Is he's been on the stage before. At the end of the day, and it's very hard to be strict all the time. All the time. You're not Seymour, and I don't mean to put it that way, but you're not Christopher Bumstead. You're going to make hiccups to begin with, and it's okay. Just communicate it. And I think that's very important. And one of the last things I want to talk about is communication at the end of the day. Whether that's, being in the Discord or being in communication with Forrest or Alexis or Spencer or I, if you guys need to speak of any of the thoughts that you may have that may fall under the seasonal depression, your holiday flops, being overeager with your goals, how can we manage this? How can I manage that? We're always here to help. And some things I want to talk about personally about myself. Am a content creator, a social media influencer, whatever you want to call, a flop, washed up. We're not hearing no goddamn soundboard of that. I want to start making videos with a question you guys have, with the questions that you all may have. I think one of the things that helped me along the lines was documenting my journey. I was in you guys' position for a long time. When I was 370 pounds I was making really bad decisions in regards to what I was intaking. I did everything. I thought I did everything correctly, but at the end of the day, I don't think I did because obviously I was 370 pounds. But when I started making decisions that you guys are making right now, my life kind of just exploded upwards. Whether that was me, social media, losing all this weight, being more confident, seeing my face for the first time, and going to the mall and finally trying some clothes on and going like, damn, I don't have to order my stuff from DXL anymore. Is essentially to I want to make videos based on the questions you guys may have, because the reason I started my social media when I started losing a bunch of weight was because everything that I put out there, whether that was motivation or health and fitness tips or workout advice or workout tips or exercises or things like that, were questions that I had that I couldn't find on the internet. So what I did was I said, okay, well, if I can't find them, I'm going to make them, and I'm going to do my own research, and I'm going to put my own spin to it. And guess what? It did well. And if you guys are in a position where, you may not be doing a show, you're doing it for yourself, because that was my whole thing. I chose not to be a bodybuilder. There's no way I can get on stage in a pretty pink thong, even though I do it at home, and flex my muscles in front of hundreds of people. I chose to stick with the lifestyle program, and I know you love it, Alexis. You're gonna get home, and I'll be ready for you in my pretty pink thong. That's why you put those fake. You meant to put the hard eyes. It's okay. We fat finger things all the time. So like I was saying, I chose not to be a bodybuilder. I chose to stick with social media and understand that my goal at the end of the day was to be a better version of myself. And if you guys are choosing that route, the lifestyle route, there's nothing wrong with bodybuilding, but if you're scared to get on stage, that's perfectly fine. One advice I have for you guys is set a goal for yourself. Set a goal, a time limit, whether that's a photo shoot, you going to the beach in a two-piece bikini, or for the dudes, you going to the beach without your shirt at a certain period, at a certain time in the summer. That is your bodybuilding show. You put that on your calendar. You do not remove it. You do everything possible that you need to do to get to that position. And I guarantee you, whatever goals you have now, because of that date on your calendar that you're going to continue looking at, this whole process and journey becomes a lot easier. Mine was I wanted to be a social media influencer. I wanted free stuff. I wanted supplements, and I wanted all the attention I possibly could, and I got it. That was my goal. But one thing I will say, if you choose that route, is do it for yourself. Don't do it for other people. Don't do it for those reasons of free items, free this, free that. Because the day you lose sight of that or you reach that goal, there's nothing else to it and you stop. And that's where I landed up. I didn't necessarily have a goal and wanted to do it for myself. I did it because I wanted all the attention possible, and I felt like the earth and the world should give it to me. And that's exactly what happened. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm a lot more responsible. I listen to a lot of my peers, and I understand that things aren't going to be given to me. So I work a little bit harder, and I understand that chapter in my life is closed, and we're working towards other things as well. But so 3 things from that whole spiel: questions from you guys that I can be useful for. I may not be a coach, but I am a huge advocate for consulting. Whether that's social media, whether that's how do I stick with my goals, especially with my life outside of health and fitness. How can I exploit myself in regards to social media? And I don't want to do a bodybuilding show, but I'd like to start getting to posting more because I'm shy and I want to get out of my shell. Anything along those lines, I am an open book, and I'd love to make videos on that. And then 3, continue doing things for yourself. Don't try to lose weight for other people, because you need more attention from men or women. Don't do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a matter of when you reach that goal, are you going to continue striving for more, or get comfortable and continue being that old person that you were? And that's pretty much all that I had to say in regards to that. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. I really appreciate it. Forrest, Alexis, Spencer, we do our best to continue providing information and free stuff like this for you guys, and we're going to continue doing so. And if I can be of any help, please let me know. And if you guys want to critique or give me any type of criticism, I'm open to that as well. But thank you guys for you guys' time, truthfully, and that's about it for me.
Drewski, thank you for the value that you dropped, because that was some fire. Because when it comes down to the holidays, it can be a really tough time. Seasonal depression, like you said, it's a real thing. And so many people struggle with it, and they believe that, oh, I'm just going to give up throughout this time of the year. And like, fuck it, I'll just wait till January 1st when everyone wants to start. So, yeah, W's in the chat. Oh, you're laughing now, Katie. But yeah, Andrew, you dropping some serious fire, because so many people think that they're the only ones that think like that. They think it's only happening to them.
100%, man. And I think at the end of the day, everybody here needs to realize there's a billion people out there that are going through the same thing as you. I guarantee you. And for you, Spencer, it's called protein. Protein.
Spencer, you ain't right. Spencer, you ain't right.
Kindergarten, Spencer. Right? That I pronounced the things that Sister Begonia told me to say. Yeah. Right. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I'm here, Forrest is here, Lex is here, Spencer is here. You guys have each other as well. Please communicate. Please do everything necessary to stay on track. You know, stay connected. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your goals. And I guarantee you, enjoy the process more than the reward, because at the end of the day, if you guys do not do that, what is the reward if you didn't enjoy the progress? It's just another thing that you got checked off your list.
Amen to that. And I like Katie W's in the chat. I don't know if it's for the protein. I don't know if it's for the seasonal depression.
No. It's not for my pronunciation, Forrest. It's because of how good this whole podcast was.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, so thank you all again for coming to another episode of the Fit and Focus podcast. I am your coach, Forrest the Trainer, and this is Drewski. I hope you all have a great Christmas and a merry, happy New Year. I was going to say Merry New Year, like a dumbass.
Now look who's pronunciating things wrong. Huh? Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year's.
See y'all later. Deuces.